Alright, so for today, I want to give you an explanation for compound events. Now, real quick, a definition of a compound event is that it consists of two or more simple events. This is like the probabilities we did before, where you're only caring about one thing happening at one time. Now we're going to add two of those simple events together, two or more, I should say, and seeing the probability of them, such as tossing a die is considered a simple event. Tossing two dice is now considered a compound event. The probability of a compound event can be calculated by its outcomes that are equally likely to happen. So let's look at this case. For a coin example, if you do the first coin, so first coin, you have the option of having heads or tails coming up, right? Well, what happens if you do this a second time? Let's just say the first time you got heads. What are the chances, or what are the two options you have on the second roll? Well, you again have a chance of getting heads or a chance of getting tails. Move one of these up. You have a chance of getting heads or you have a chance of getting tails. Let me redo this line. So for this first outcome, we can either have after getting heads, we flip the coin again, we either get another heads or we get a tails. Now what happens if we were given a tails at the end? What would our compound event look like then? Well, again, if you flip a coin, what are the only two options you have? Well, you're either going to flip a heads or a tails again. So you can pull heads or you can pull a tails. Now in the question example here, we tossed the coin 3 times. So after the second chance, we have this. And now again, the third time we do this. What will happen after the third time? Well, again, our heads has two options of giving us another heads, or this one has tails. Our tails coin, again, can either give us a heads or a tails. This head can give us another head again, or tails. This tails can give us a head or a tail coin flip. So now after 3 chances, these are the outcomes we have. Now how do we go about finding the outcomes? Well, to find the outcomes, we just follow the branches. So for this purple one, we go from heads, we follow the top branch, we get heads again, and last one we get heads a third time. The other probability we have, we're going to do this one in red, we go from heads to tails. So you have head, head, tail. And we keep following this along for every outcome we had. So again, we do it for the, starting with heads, then we go to tails this time. So we have heads, tails, and go back up to heads. Again, heads, tails, tails. For this one, we go tails, starting off with. We go to heads, then heads. And we keep going until every possibility we have is used up. So these are all the outcomes that we could possibly have. Now this right here is going to help us define the probability of finding certain events. Now to find the probability of certain events, we just take, again, we know our outcomes is what we want over the total. So in this case, how many total events do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So know that every time we do one of these probabilities, we'll have a total equaling 8. So 2 questions I have for you to show you this. The first one is, what is the probability of getting only heads? Well, looking at our outcomes, which one only had heads? Well, it was the first one. So we have a 1 out of 8 chance for H only. What's the probability of getting 2 heads and 1 tails? Well, let's find out all the ones that have 2 H's and 1 T. Well, we have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and I do believe that's all of them. Heads, 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 tails. That's 1, 2, 3. Yep, you only have 3. So what's our outcome? Well, we have 3 over our total of 8. 4 H H T. And if you can simplify them, please simplify them. But if you leave it in fraction form, that's perfectly okay with me. So that's how you do a compound event for outcomes of probability. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. I'll be more than happy to do more examples or explain this in a different way. Hopefully this helps you, and have a great day.